We're Aubrey and Deleir, designers and DIYers, teaming up with Lowe's to help homeowners combine their DIY wants and needs to create a blended space that everyone loves. This is blending, how to build and stain a fence. Lana and Hassan recently moved into an Austin home with their 2 kids. After catching their breath from their interior renovations, they're now ready to enhance their outdoor space.
Welcome.
So this is our backyard.
Wow.
This is a mess, but it has a lot of potential.
You guys have such an awesome space. What do you want to do with it?
I wanted to create the best space for my kids.
Me, I want a kitchen.
We definitely would love to have a nice fence.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also to match what we already have on the other side.
Right.
You guys obviously kind of prioritize different things, but I think we can unify everything. So if we know that the fence is kind of agreed upon, let's start there.
Perfect. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right.
I'm not sure how Aubrey and Deleir are gonna create a space that is what I want and what he wants, but I can't wait to see.
Today's the day we're building the fence, but before we head to the Dandachlis, we're stopping at Lowe's to pick up some materials.
Before you get started, you'll want to check your local building codes. Call your utility company and have them mark the underground lines.
If necessary, remove the previous fence. Then plan your layout for your new fence. Once the ground is prepped, I'll mark every 7 feet to know where to dig the post holes. Now, the fun begins. I'm using this auger from Lowe's to dig the fence post holes. You want the diameter of your holes to be at least 3 times the width of your post. Once the auger has done its job, I'll use the post hole digger to clear out the remaining dirt. The holes should be at least 1/3 of the height of the fence. Since the final fence height is 6 feet, I want these holes to be 2 feet deep.
Place the first fence post. I'm using 2 magnetic torpedo levels to make sure it's plumb. Set the levels at 90 degrees from each other and look for the horizontal bubbles on both. Add fast-setting concrete mix and about 1 gallon of water and work it in with a shovel. As the concrete is setting, keep an eye on the levels to make small adjustments as needed. You can also brace the posts to keep them in place while the concrete sets. After a few hours, these will be fully set.
After you have a post installed at each end of the new fence line, tie and level a taut string between the posts. This will serve as your reference height for all of your pickets.
Good. Now you can install the rest of your fence posts, making sure they're in line with your string.
All the posts are up and the concrete is set. Now we can install our brackets that will hold our rails in place.
So we've got both of our brackets here. You want to make sure you have 2, one for the bottom stringer and one for the top.
I like to work ahead and mark the points where I'm going to be putting my brackets. Our bottom bracket will be 4 feet below our top bracket. We're placing our top bracket at 7 inches below our string. Measuring from the level reference string will ensure that the rails will stay level even if the ground is not level.
Once you've marked your posts, tighten both the top and bottom brackets and make sure they're level.
Yeah, that's good. Boom.
Once you've installed all of the brackets, you'll connect the posts with 2x4 rails. Start with the bottom rail at the end of the fence, setting the first rail across the first bracket. Cut the rail to length so that it ends in the middle of the next bracket. Screw your rails into the bracket through the pre-drilled holes.
Just another day on the job, you know? Line up your first picket with your reference string. Attach the picket to the top rail with 1 screw. Then, make sure it's vertically level before attaching it to the lower rail. Boom. You'll want to put 2 screws in the picket at every rail intersection. Just find your rhythm and repeat all the way down the fence line.
We're using a level as a straight edge to double check that every picket rises to the same height. This part of the process can be tedious and repetitive, but it feels really good to see your progress as you go. So much progress.
You'll notice that the posts are sticking up above the fence line. So what I'm going to do is use this reciprocating saw to cut the top off of the post. That way, it'll hide behind the pickets. Once it's cut, I'll add this 2-inch post cap, which will keep water and debris out and give the post a clean look.
All right, we are almost done. The only step now is to stain. Staining is super important. It helps protect your fence from rot, mildew, and UV for years to come. This side of the fence hasn't been replaced. We're gonna add the same stain to both sides and help unify the overall aesthetic. Let's do it.
The Dandachlis decided on a stain color, so I put an order in online and picked it up from the Lowe's locker.
too easy. Some people like bubble baths. Some people like long walks on the beach. I like power washing.
Now we're gonna give this old fence a power wash before we stain it. Start with a wide nozzle to spray on some detergent. After the detergent sits for a few minutes, I'll switch to a tighter nozzle and wash the fence from top to bottom, overlapping my passes to make sure I get a consistent wash.
So behind me is a section we washed and a section we haven't. Obviously a big difference. We're gonna wait a few days for this to dry and then we'll stain and seal it. This is a great way to bring new life to an old fence. Sometimes life hands you lemons. What I like to say is, keep on squeezing, baby. Today we're using a black semi-transparent stain and seal. What's awesome about this product is it goes on in a single coat. When applying this stain, you want to start from the top and work your way down. This top area of the picket really matters. That end grain is exposed and is susceptible to rot, so you really want to get in there and apply that stain. After that, you're going to want to work your way down the entire picket in short, smooth strokes, making sure to get full coverage. In areas where you have sections between pickets, you want to turn your brush vertically and really get in there, making sure to cover it the entire way down. Some pickets will have certain areas that are particularly rough. In these spots, I like to turn my brush vertically and really get in there to soak them all the way through.
After staining the new fence, I'll stain the old fence that has dried after the pressure washing.
Some pickets are too far gone, so we have to replace them with new ones. We're gonna go ahead and stain this one just like we did the others. What's nice about using a dark stain is it helps mask the difference between the old pickets and the new ones.
This yard already feels like it's transformed with the new fence, but that's something that Lana and Haas both wanted. Now we get to the hard part, blending their preferences and styles to make a backyard and patio that works for both of them and their kids.
All the products and tools you saw in this video were purchased at Lowe's. Visit Lowes.com for more inspiration to transform your yard and home.